6 more years.
Questions about the Prime Minister's leadership started early in January and persisted throughout the year. Newfoundland and Labrador MP Ken McDonald was the first to say a review was needed.
Are you losing support in your caucus?
Good to see you guys.
That feeling seemed to fester for months. Throughout the year, the number of MPs calling for Trudeau to step down only grew, as the Prime Minister's personal polling numbers continued to sag. There were a number of attempts to change the channel and improve the party's polling numbers. The Prime Minister renamed the Climate Action Incentive Payment, hoping to reframe the consumer impact of the carbon tax by giving it a new name, the Canada Carbon Rebate. But it did little to sway public opinion, and it further emboldened the opposition Conservatives.
Why not allow Canadians to vote to axe the tax?
As the fiscal year came to a close, the Liberals attempted to reset their economic agenda with a budget that prioritized spending on housing, pharma and dental care, as well as a school food program. To pay for it, the Liberals increased the inclusion rate on the capital gains, claiming it would only affect 0.13% of Canadians. The government also took heat for how it handled foreign interference. Justice Marie-Josée Hogg led the public inquiry that included testimony from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, his staff, and national security advisors.
We have a role to play in asking questions, on thinking critically.
Intelligence reports deemed Canada a, quote, low-risk, high-reward target because there are few legal or political consequences if you are caught. Months later, the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians released a report saying MPs or senators wittingly or unwittingly colluded with foreign governments.
What they're doing is unethical. It is, in some cases, against the law, and it is indeed they are indeed traitors to the country.
Later in the year, Canada took action on alleged foreign interference, expelling 6 Indian diplomats, including the High Commissioner, who was identified as a person of interest in the assassination of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. In a year where the Prime Minister tried to assert Canada's sovereignty, his grip on the Liberal Party was put to the test. The Liberals lost 3 seats in by-elections, notably in 2 historic strongholds on the island of Montreal and in downtown Toronto. In both, Trudeau's unpopularity was seen as a direct cause.
I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement.
Seeing their alliance as a potential liability, Jagmeet Singh withdrew the NDP from the 2-year-old supply and confidence agreement, meaning the Liberals could no longer count on their support. It further fueled speculation that Trudeau should step down, even as he appointed Mark Carney as an economic advisor at a caucus retreat in Nanaimo, BC. Despite that, the chaos in caucus continued, with some MPs even openly demanding a secret ballot vote to oust the Prime Minister.
Oral questions.
Further compounding matters, the Conservatives continued a filibuster in the House of Commons as the Liberals refused to hand over documents related to a now-defunct green tech fund. It paralyzed Parliament and forced the Liberals to negotiate with opposition parties to pass the 2-month GST holiday, while a plan to give $250 checks to working Canadians remains in limbo. Chrystia Freeland had stood by those proposals, but after being told she'd be replaced as finance minister, she released a stunning resignation letter where she criticized the Prime Minister for costly political gimmicks. She quit as finance minister the same day she was scheduled to deliver the fall economic statement.
I'm happy to be with my family.
Her departure reignited calls for the Prime Minister to step down, with even more Liberal MPs publicly asking Trudeau to walk away.
We're not united. There's still a number of our members who feel we need a change in leadership. I'm one of those.
All the while, the threat of 25% tariffs on all Canadian goods going into the U.S. continued to hang over the Prime Minister. President-elect Donald Trump made the threat on social media shortly after winning the American election. Hoping to convince him to change course, the Prime Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, and advisors flew down to Mar-a-Lago. It was there that Trump mused if Canada's economy cannot survive without being subsidized by the U.S., then perhaps Canada should become the 51st state. Following Freeland's departure, Trudeau announced a cabinet shuffle at the end of that same week. 4 ministers were reassigned and 8 backbenchers were promoted into cabinet.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
The Prime Minister said little to reporters and did not address his future. However, Trudeau is said to be giving it some serious thought over the holiday break. Couteur, CTV News, Ottawa.